Sup, friends? We good? I'm looking forward to this one. This one's going to be a good one, friends. Just making sure that the light doesn't hit the damn thing too improperly. But welcome Friday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever in the world this may find you, I am absolutely perfectly dressed to hear another Greg Dooley AFGHAN WHIGS project. Long time fan. I'm really looking forward to playing the new AFGHAN WHIGS record for you. And love the fact that this will actually be the first time that I do a live stream like this for an AFGHAN WHIGS record. And that probably pleases me more than anything, because I've said it more than once during the show that AFGHAN WHIGS is very much my favorite band of the 90s. So whenever it is that you get that question, it's kind of like, what's your favorite band? What's your favorite grunge band? I always say AFGHAN WHIGS. It's like, wait a second, AFGHAN WHIGS aren't really grunge, or who's AFGHAN WHIGS? Like, you know, everybody was doing it this way, they were doing it that way, and they added a bunch of soul and Motown to it, and had that grit, and had painted pictures with their music. Greg Dooley paints pictures with his words, man. I am such a big fucking fan, like really I am. Actually, it's 4:20, so you don't mind if I smoke a joint while I do the preamble? You guys know how this entire thing works, right? We're going to spend the first part of the show just basically chatting a bit, kind of like pregame. You know, the, what do they call them? Those parties there, tailgate party. Once we get a good group of people here, we're going to get together and we're going to listen to the record. We're going to have the main course, right? When you go have dinner with somebody, you don't just rush into dinner. You have a drink, you have an aperitivo. You relax, you nosh. Maybe there's a little bit of sopressat on the table. Some crudités. Some nice provolone cheese. You nosh. And then, eventually, the meal starts. There's a ritual that I absolutely love about vinyl. And it's a ritual that I'm proud to bring to this live stream. In a world of Spotify, where streams control everything, numbers, algorithms choose, even the labels are just geared towards making sure that they're not on the next playlist, because if they get on the next big playlist, then they're going to get a bunch of clicks, and people are going to know the band, but they're going to get a third of a penny for every spin. It's not me. I don't connect with that, man. I'm a vinyl guy. So I buy the records. I often get promo as well. I mean, we did tag Sub Pop Records on this. We tagged the AFGHAN WHIGS on this. You know, whether it is that they'll listen or not, that's okay. But whether they listen or not, Twitch is the new radio, friends. This type of manner of listening to music in community together is not going away. This is what people want. This is what fans want. And it's actually really good for the labels too, and the bands, because it creates a deeper, more immersive experience. You got a bunch of people all here for exactly the same reason, having a conversation about it. In real time. What can beat that? You know? I definitely know Tom Waits. Not the time to ask about it, but I promise you can ask about it later on in the day. We're going to be on for the next 8 hours. Damn, dude. 8-hour stream? Yeah, 8-hour stream. I'm grinding, man. Building the channel because I see Twitch and live streaming like this as the future of radio. We are the future DJs. I am the future John Peel. Vinyl Junkies is the place that you come to and say, oh, I discovered this record for the first time. I heard this record for the first time on Vinyl Junkies. Just the way it is that people used to say back 30 years ago. I heard this for the first time on the Peel Show. John Peel introduced me to it. I went out and bought it. And that's what it is that happens here. We've been at it for 2 years, but now we've opened it up to everybody rather than just patrons. And frankly, it's blown up. We are so close to hitting 10,000 subscribers. And it's all because of you guys. There's an enthusiasm there, you know? Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. And I'm happy to share my enthusiasm with you. You guys tell me there's great energy. There's great energy because I love this. There's no fucking secret to this. You can tell when somebody's in it for real or when it is that they're trying to be popular. You know what I mean? It's like, this is what I do, man. I love playing music. I love introducing music to people. And I love talking about music. And those of you who have caught me during the show, and even outside of the show, you'll find me visiting other streams. You'll find me interacting with other Twitch DJs. The ones that I think are good. Because I'm learning. Because as a music nerd, I just want more information. More. And I don't trust Pitchfork. Fuck Pitchfork. They don't give me what I want. Pitchfork is just pushing the latest thing. It's always about the latest thing. It's always about the latest product. It's not for me, man. As a record collector, I go backwards. What do you think? I bought those records and they become completely obsolete the minute the new fucking Drake record comes out? Come on, man. That's not what I do. That's not it. I dig forward, but I dig back also. Vinyl provides a history. It's your history. And you get to keep it. You get to see it. So I dig into these stacks, and I do this radio show. A radio show unlike anything that you'll have on Twitch or YouTube. I know this already. But I'm excited to see the platform grow. I'm excited to see people fucking explode. Because there's no putting the ketchup back in the bottle, man. This is the new radio. This is how people are consuming music now, because simple. They are fed up of the algorithm. They are fed up of the impersonal bullshit, sterile experience offered by Spotify. They want the voice. They want the recommendation. They want the company. They want the conversation. That's what we do here, guys. Other DJs stream. Other DJs do their sets with respect. We got space and time for everybody. Think of Twitch as a big fucking radio station, okay? You know, like on the radio station in the car, you program your channels. You're allowed to program like 15 channels, 5 per slot type of thing. This is your Twitch radio. Pre-program your stations. I'm telling you, there's a lot that people have to offer over here. Us, what we offer is music from all across. I play everything. Metal, classical, jazz, country, soul, folk, world music, reggae, metal, punk, everything. Bluegrass, yeah, I do that too. Sure, everything. I love music. And that's what I offer to you. I don't offer you the latest and greatest. I'm not that guy. Fantoma's that guy. He's always on, Anthony Fantoma, Needle Drop. They do what's there now. And do it great. I can't do it better than him. But what I could do is I could do this here. This old school radio, this creating of a community where you feel comfortable being here and you feel like you're part of something bigger. You feel like, you know what, there's really something to listening to music altogether the way he's talking about. He's not just bullshitting, it's true. That I can offer. You want to be in a room full of music nerds? You're going to find a room full of music nerds here. Simple. And you're going to learn music here. And you're going to share your knowledge, because that's what the VJ Hive Mind is. You understand? We all get together and we share knowledge. We all take our collective passions and we plug them into the same real-time conversation. You understand? That real-time conversation becomes what I call the VJ Hive Mind. We're all taking our experiences of music, of our passion for art, and plugging into the same damn positive experience that is these broadcasts. And what it is that you're doing is you're finding exactly the same thing on other channels. We do it a certain way. And that's all I could do. I could offer you my way. So all of a sudden I see somebody like Pinks Tuscadero, for example, and you know what? I met Pinks Tuscadero on a stream, on another stream. Here she is. Welcome to my channel, Pinks. I hope you enjoy it. Can't guarantee you're going to enjoy the music necessarily, because I really do play everything. But today we're going to do Afghan Whigs. This part of the show, when I do full album live streams like this, is what we call the preamble. I just basically build it up, you know? Once we got a nice crowd going, everybody's in a mood, everyone's had a chance to have a drink, everyone's settled down, the conversation's there, we've introduced each other to each other, kind of thing. You get that kind of a vibe, you go into the game, baby. That's when you go into the stadium. In my case, it's going into the club. I liken it to having those couple of beers in the park and smoking those few joints in the park before you go catch your favorite band play. I mean, I'm assuming I'm not the only guy who did that or does that, right? Do I have any expectations of this record? Of course I have expectations. I expect it to be great. Why? Because I like everything Afghan Whigs does. It's as simple as that. I like it all, man. I like Greg Dooley. I actually forgot to pull his solo album, but I got one of his solo records. I got Twilight Singers. One of the parts that I do during this preamble also is show and tell. So, allow me to show and tell some of the records that I have that feature Greg Dooley as the singer, as the primary. Ironically, the one it is that I'm not going to show you is his solo record. I have it. I have his last solo record, but I forgot to pull it. However, we still got a decent stack to look through. Check it out. These are my Afghan Whigs and solo projects. Not many solo projects, but you'll see. And yes, I have the entire catalog on vinyl. Up in it is actually, I mean, unless you talk about stuff like Big Top Halloween and that stuff, I'm not necessarily interested in having that. I want the albums proper. And when I got this first one here, this is their very first album released maybe in 95. You guys, if you could get me a year, 1990. Okay, of course, I know that. If you guys can make sure that you confirm the years, 1990. It's the most different sounding Afghan Whigs of all of them. As a matter of fact, if you really had to throw the title of grunge on them, this is probably the most grunge record. Okay. I wasn't sure I needed it. This is the last besides the new one, this is the last Afghan Whigs record I bought because I realized that I needed it. I also got to figure out how to get these shadows out. Where the fuck is the light making it so that there's shadows like this? It's making me crazy. This here. This is where the love affair to me with Afghan Whigs really started. This record, dudes, get this. Just get this. Congregation. I was blown away when I heard this for the first time. By the time I got to the last song, Miles is Dead, it's like, all right, it's over. Miles is Dead was that song that's like, I want to hear more. And it's certainly one of my favorite Afghan Whigs songs still now. And I will play other Afghan Whigs after we finish this live stream, okay? So, those of you who are curious, is there anybody here, for example, who is completely new to Afghan Whigs? You've never heard it. No need to be shy. That's why you come here, to listen to something, to discover something new with people who know it. That's the pleasure, man. That's the sauce. You get it? All right. We move on to, what is this? This got to be 93, 94. And this, to me, is a masterpiece of a record as far as you can call it that. At the very least, I will say with confidence, because it's been the same answer for years and years and years. I ask myself the same question. This is my favorite record of the 90s. Like, this is my favorite record of the 90s. I have heard it hundreds of times. I cannot get enough of this. And I promise if you continue listening to this radio station, you will be hearing me talk about Dooley and Afghan Whigs and all of that, because I'm just a huge fan. This record is, to me, If you listen to 90s music and if you like 90s music, this album is 1000% essential. It's an essential pick for a 90s collection. The next album, I would say, is also the case. This one is called, what the hell? I'm not good with names, I'm a stoner. I forget things. This one is called Black Love. This one, for the person who was name-dropping Tom Waits, Tom Waits had a noir quality to his lyrics and even his delivery. He had a good, like, I mean, it was amazing, obviously. But if you listen to, like, his mid-70s stuff, before he goes into Swordfish Trombones, right? So you listen to an album like Foreign Affairs. There's a certain noir quality to it that's amazing. You get the same noir quality here. I thought when I heard Gentlemen that it could not be possible for me to like a record, an Afghan Whigs record more. I gotta tell you, sometimes this is my favorite record. Sometimes it's like, no, this is the one that I go to. It's incredible. So this was their last album before they disappeared for a while. It's an album called 1965. And if I had to say, they've always fucked with Motown. Obviously, you can hear that Dooley and Curly, they're all fans of old soul. And you hear old soul all across their music. Okay. If I Only Had a Brain. I think one time when I saw them play live, they sang If I Only Had a Brain. Band of Gold. A whole bunch of singles. Okay. This here is the record that sounds most like a soul record. It is an open tribute to old soul, and again, you know what I'm going to say. It's amazing. It is. So they disappeared for a while. Greg Dooley went out and did some solo projects. He and Lanigan worked together. There was a project, his big project at the time was Twilight Singers, which I am very anxiously awaiting a reissue campaign for. Twilight Singers is such an incredible band, on par with the Afghan Whigs stuff. And it's just a matter of finding it on vinyl. When it comes out, as soon as that stuff in Sub Pop, I think, if I'm not wrong, this is memory, from a stoner, of course, but if I'm not wrong, I think Sub Pop are the ones who put those records out. So anyway, there was that Twilight Singers period, phase, some solo stuff, and Afghan Whigs was no more. You fast forward to 2000 and I don't remember what. This is 2014. You got this record here, Due to the Beast. Yeah, that's a dude, I think. The picture here is somebody just basically putting his face into a big old mountain of cocaine. At least that's what I'm getting from this. I mean, you can also maybe say that he's just throwing his face into the water, but to me it looks like he's just fucking diving headfirst into a big mountain of cocaine, like Tony Montana style. So this came out in 2014. I dug it. I won't go further than that simply because I haven't listened to these records as much as the stuff before that. The stuff before that is part of my DNA. Okay. And then in 2017, this is an album I actually listened to pretty recently. What the hell's it called? In Spades. That's right, In Spades. And I really liked this. I played this one pretty recently. And that's their catalog. That's at least their albums. I mean, they have some EPs that are kind of difficult to find, and if you want to go that far type of thing, it exists. I'm not that guy. To me, if I got the albums, I kind of have the band's history for the most part. And then when I was talking to you about Twilight Singers, this is an example of a Twilight Singers record. This is their last record, which came out in 2018 or something? I don't fucking know. I can't see. 2011 maybe? And there's some Mark Lanigan stuff in here too. I'm a huge fan of Mark Lanigan as well. Not so much the band before, Screaming... I nearly lost you. Not so much. Although I have seen the Screaming Trees open up for Alice in Chains. Yeah. To me, Lanigan got really interesting once he went solo. I love the solo stuff. And incidentally, all of that stuff's on Sub Pop as well. If you see Mark Lanigan solo records, take a chance. As a matter of fact, if anything, after the show, I'm going to play you some Mark Lanigan so that you get a feel for it. These albums are all on Sub Pop, and Sub Pop's pretty reasonable with their pricing also, so I think we'll like it, you know? All right. I think I'm ready to start talking about the quality of the record. This is the second part of the show, okay? This is where it is that I do a physical review of the record itself. This is not a critique of the music. As a matter of fact, I mean, if you've listened to my show at all, you'll notice that I don't assign scores. I don't critique, like, I talk about music. That's what I do here. My goal on this show is not to tell you if it's good or not. My goal is to give you an opportunity to listen to it together with a community of people who love music as much as you. And that's what it is that I want to do. As a music lover, I love the idea of being able to listen to a record for the first time with a bunch of other people. It makes my first time special. In real time, it makes my first time special. So this is as much about me having a gratifying experience as you. I have the record. I could listen to it by myself. But isn't it far more gratifying to be able to listen to it with a bunch of fans and have a discussion about it, a conversation? Not assign a fucking number score to it, none of that. Just have a discussion. Just enjoy a piece of art. You don't go look at a Van Gogh and you assign, oh yeah, you know, that's a 9.7. At this point, he cut his ear off, so he wasn't the same. I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? You enjoy art. You don't rate art. To me. I mean, that's my take on it. So that's what I'm here to do. You'll notice that the album has a kind of like a gold stamp cover. I love it. Holy fuck, that's awesome. Would you look at that? Now that's nice. That's the centerfold. So gold foil stamp everywhere. Didn't that pop the second I opened it up? Yeah, dudes. I'll tell you what I paid for the record. I'm assuming $35 or less. Yeah, $32, okay? So I paid $32 for the record already. To me, I'm getting a decent package. I mean, the paper is kind of like regular stock, so it's not thick or anything like that. On the other hand, it's a nice gold stamp cover, a foil hot stamp cover, and it's embossed, okay? So the moon here is embossed. It's really cool. Here in the back also, you'll notice that this part is all embossed also. You see how the light plays off of it? Awesome, right? So in other words, when it is that you're adding these... Oh, is the inside embossed? Oh, shit! The inside's embossed too. Look at how the light plays off the buildings and the palm trees. You have to understand, we haven't even dropped the needle on this, and I'm already showing you how much I love this record. And please, those of you who don't listen to vinyl, understand that this is what makes vinyl special. This here, handling the product, just... God damn, is it cool. Please understand that it's not just about the music. You can go right now and listen on Spotify. It's not going to be the same. I'm savoring this. Before you dig into your favorite dish, don't you look at it? Smell it. When you taste it, do you just look for the taste or do you feel the texture in your mouth? You understand? There's an entire experience there that goes beyond just listening to the music, which is all Spotify offers you. And because it's like that, it cheapens the experience of enjoying art together. So what do? You listen to 15 seconds and you fast forward. Or you move forward to the fucking to the middle of the song to see if it picks up. And then you go to it. It's a shitty way to listen to art. This is not what we do here. Okay, so in other words, you're looking at a record that's going to be under 30 US. Already off to a good start. The product is beautiful. So far. Any liner notes to speak of? Oh, damn. Okay. So this here is the inner sleeve. This is, I guess, what houses the record. also embossed. And here we run into, in my opinion, the first problem. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful as a piece of art. It is not what the record should be housed in. It's paper. The way it is, you know, sometimes you get your new records, brand new records, and they got surface scuffs on them. The reason they have surface scuffs is because when they're being sleeved automatically, the surface of the record scratches up against this. Records should be put in an anti-static sleeve. Simple. You don't wrap a sandwich in a dirty old newspaper, do you? Right? Before you open up your sandwich, you got ink all over your hands, and then you eat your sandwich. That's not the way it's done. Old school was wax paper. And if your parents put a little bit of those fucking melanzans inside, all that sautage in your sandwich, all the oil from that shit, from the eggplants would go into the wax paper, and the wax paper would become translucent. Sorry, man, these are immigrant memories for me. I'm the son of an immigrant, you know? Alright, so we're going to go to the record. Please know that I have no idea about which pressing is which, okay? I know that they have something called the loser edition, and they have a regular edition. When I buy the record, I don't look at that at all. I don't care. I don't care about the color. I want a well-pressed record, period. But it's pink. And I'm sure that the fact that they have a pink variant helps them sell a lot of records. So, no hate to that, but I don't buy records for pink, or green, or blue. I buy records to listen to them. What I'm looking for now is I'm looking for those surface scuffs. You know how it is that I said I got the light basically right there shining directly on it. So I'm able to look at the surface and I'm able to see if there's any irregularities, okay? Generally, if I see surface scuffs, you'll see it, okay? Another thing that I look for is what they call non-fill pits or bumps on the surface. That tells you that the record's not pressed very well. Okay, well, this side here is clean. We flip over to the other side. Usually if one side is clean, so is the other. You know what I've noticed over the last couple of years? I'm seeing a lot less non-fill issues. You know, when you see the bumps and stuff like that, I'm seeing less of that. Okay, so look, the surface is super clean. So far, so good. In other words, the surface to me is actually a 10 out of 10. That I'm comfortable scoring. The other thing that I look at is, I look at the finish of the record. Two things specifically. I feel the edges. Are the edges sharp? In this case, they're kind of sharp, a little bit. Okay? I've come across records that are super smooth. I've come across records that are way sharper than this. But if I had to kind of like assign a score, I would say that this is an 8.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. It's rough. Then I look for, in the middle, the center hole, I look for extra bits of vinyl sticking out. They call that flash. That's a sign of a record that's not pressed well. And in this case, I see no flash at all. It's absolutely clean. So, as far as that, maybe an 8.5, 8 for the edges, which of course is, listen, I'm going into minutia here, right? It's not the edges you play, but I'm going into minutia so you know what to expect. Completely clean center and completely clean surfaces. So up to now, so far, so good. Okay? The next thing that we look at, the next two things that we look at are the most important of all, and that is warp and centering. If I look at this, there might be, this is blind eye. Maybe there's a slight warp. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to put it on the turntable and find out. And centering, the only way you can find out is actually putting it on the turntable. So I'm going to pull the camera back now so you guys see what I'm trying to do. Okay, here, let me just, all right. You see the light here. Let me just prepare the light a little bit so that we have a bit of light on the actual record. Okay, give me just a second. Let me do this better for you. Okay, you see this light here? No, where is it? This light there? Where the fuck is the light? You see the light on the record? You pay attention to that, okay? What it is that you can do, I mean, I'm going to basically go right down and look at exactly how flat or not flat it is. However, before it is that I even go there, you just pay attention to the light on the record. If you see the light shimmering, bouncing, it's because the record's warped. Then we look at the degree of warp. If you see that the light stays steady, it's the same all the way across as it plays, that's a flat record. So you don't look, you don't need me, you don't have to take my opinion for it. You can see it, okay? And then what I do is I look for centering. Pretty simple. The way it is that you do that is you drop your needle, your stylus, right at the beginning of the record the most. Why at the beginning grooves? Because the beginning grooves is where it is that you're able to see the faults in the record, the imperfections in the record best. The outer grooves, if the record's not centered properly, you're going to see left and right movement on your tone arm. And you're able to see that more prominently with the end of the grooves. If the record is not centered properly, you're going to see up and down movement, or a combination of both. If I had to choose, I've said this before, I would choose a perfectly centered record over a record that maybe might be slightly warped. There's nothing more important than having a record dead center. It's like buying a brand new car and not having the alignment properly. You buy a brand new car, you drive it off the lot, and the car pulls left. That's a car that's off center. It's the same thing for vinyl. If the record's off center, it's because they gave you a car with improper alignment. Why is that so important? Because look, the entire idea of the stylus dropping in is that it has to be perpendicular. As perfect 90-degree angle, it has to fall into the deepest part of the groove. Okay? Now what happens if this happens? What happens to your stylus? Your stylus isn't playing the deepest part of the groove anymore, it's playing the sides of the groove. It's kind of like if you're turning one way with tires, you're going to get wear on one side of the tire. It's the same type of thing. So it's playing the sides of the groove. It's not playing the groove the way it's supposed to be played. Not perfect. That's why it's super important to have a centered record. So, let me shut up for just a bit. I'm going to turn the volume off here. And I'm going to let this spin. Actually here, before I drop the needle, you remember what I said about the light bouncing? Why don't we start the turntable and see if you see any light bouncing, okay? Check it out. Welcome, Johnny. I'm glad you like the show. You guys enjoying this product review, by the way? How many of you actually collect records? Because this is what I do when I do a full album spin. Whenever I do the old man shows, I go into full product review. All right. So tell me, what do you see with the light? You know what I see? No movement at all so far. That's good. That tells you that if there's a warp, it's not a big warp. You'd see the light go. If you see a little bit of a warp, if you see a little bit of bouncing, that means there's a slight warp. Now, of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go way down and I'm going to take a look. But I can already see that the warp, actually I see a little bit of a warp. It's probably going to be a 9, but I'll confirm that with you. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the stylus directly at the beginning and I'm going to see if it goes left and right. That tells me if it's centered or not. So if you just give me a second, I might have to be off the mic a bit. Okay, so I see maybe a 9 warp or an 8.5 warp out of 10, which is basically cosmetic. 8 and 9 is the level that I want for, if there's going to be any type of warp, that's where it is that I want it. It's mostly cosmetic. When you start getting into the 6s and 7s is when you see space between the platter and the actual record. If you're able to fit a dime between the space, the worst space, then it's a fail. Here we're looking at cosmetic, so 8.5, 9. On the other hand, the record's not on center. There's back and forth. Yeah, you can see it with a blind eye too, right? I got in real close, so I can really determine. I would say that the centering issue is maybe an 8.5 or 9 out of 10 as well. I hate records that are not centered properly. Like, I really hate that. But that's basically your product review. In other words, are you getting a good record? From a strict product standpoint, I would say yes. For $32 that I paid to get a gatefold that looks like this, that's embossed, artfully done, a mostly well-pressed record, save for the centering. To me, the centering is the biggest problem with this record. I'm satisfied. I would like also to tell you that I wish I could say differently, but centering issues with new records is a pretty common problem. So, I've quality tested over 1,000 new records from every label under the sun. So, I know this stuff. I'm telling you, man. The centering is a very, very disappointing thing. But what it is that I'm seeing, though, is I am seeing a little bit of an improvement over, let's say, even up to 3 years. The Void is here for Afghan Whigs for the first time. Yeah, boy. Terrell the Poet. Yeah, man, my Friday is good. Look, man, I'm here. I've already had actually one edible. I guess I'm going to grab another edible. I'm about to grab another edible. I got a nice cup of coffee. I'm with a bunch of friends. And we're doing this live. What better feeling is there to spend an afternoon, a Friday, with a bunch of other music nerds, listening to a record for the first time? Is there anybody here who's already an Afghan Whigs fan? Is there anybody here who doesn't know Afghan Whigs at all? I'm going to welcome you to a big part of my world, okay? God damn, I love these gummies. And I'm about to burn. The record is called How Do You Burn? 2022. The brand new record from Sub Pop. I have not read a single review. It's been out for 3 or 4 weeks. When it comes to these reviews, everybody rushes to do it right at the beginning. I do the review when I buy the record, and when I buy the record, then I listen to it. As a matter of fact, if anything, I gotta tell you that I avoid listening to the music before I get it on wax. Well, what happens if the music never comes out on wax, Sam? Then I don't listen to it. That's stupid. Why is it stupid? There are only 24 hours in a day. I've already got 9,000 records. It's not like I'm going to run out of music to listen to. I mean, do you claim to make it your job to listen to absolutely everything new because it's popular? If you do, then you and me don't do the same thing. Rather than listen to the new Drake record streaming on Spotify, I'll go back and revisit a John Coltrane record. That's me. If I gave a shit enough about Drake to actually buy it, then I'll go out and buy it whenever it comes out. And then I've invested in it. It's not just the money that you invest in it. You're investing a part of yourself because it's like, yes, I picked this record. There's a choice there. That's why people are moving back to their old technology. They're moving back to their iPods because they like the idea of choosing. They like the idea of curation. You know what I'm saying? Fantoma's a beast, dude. I just want you to know that Fantoma plays this game like a master. I don't have his skills, and I'm not an internet personality like he is. I guess I am because this is what I do for a living, and I mean, I do this radio, right? But I don't think I do the same thing as Anthony Fantoma. See, The Void actually says, the thing is you can afford about 2 records a month, and you have about 90 records. The streams sometimes, so you do stream so it doesn't get repetitive. Okay, but can I tell you what happens with the 90 records that you have, The Void? Take it from somebody who's collected and started collections over and over again. I've gone from vinyl to tapes to CDs, back to vinyl. Okay? When you have a tiny collection, you listen to those records with more intent. You become more familiar with the small collection. That's not a bad thing. You develop a tighter attachment to the music and what you have. So what I'm saying is, never fucking say, oh, I got only 90 records. Bullshit. You're going to get to love those 90 records. Those 90 records are going to become part of the soundtrack of your life. So, I've got 9,000. I've done it my whole life, though. But I think, and I'm not kidding here, I think very fondly of those first few records that I have. And guess what? Those are the records that I play most often still now. Sinead O'Connor, Lion and the Cobra. Over and over and over again. Why? Because I bought it when I was 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? Alright, friends. What'd you think? Did you like the preamble? Did you like the product review? It's time for music, okay? We ready for it? If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope that you're enjoying it. We are marching our way towards 10,000 subscribers. So the number that you see at the top right hand of your screen is 9,461. That's how many followers we have right now. That puts us 539 follows away from 10,000. We'll get there with friends. Community listening products like this, man. And you know what? We share the love. I absolutely go rate other channels. I absolutely visit other channels. I absolutely bring my knowledge and my passion into the discussion of other channels. I try, when it is that I visit other Twitch channels, I try to be a good citizen. If I nerd out here, I nerd out there too. You know why? Because I'm a fucking nerd. Because I like talking about music. It never gets old for me. I could do it 12 hours a day. I do. I stream for 8+ hours a day. And then when I get off, what do? I listen to more music, or I read, or, you know? Alright. Damn, dude. All that talking. Yes, sir. Those of you who are doing shows who actually watch on YouTube, if you would be so inclined to just put a marker right here, put a timestamp, this is where it is that we begin the actual needle drop and listen to the record for the first time. So, new record, this came out just a few years ago. Just a few weeks ago, I should say. The album is called How Do You Burn? From 2022. This is AFGHAN WHIGS. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, friends. Time to burn. Oops. Maybe it's a good idea for me to unmute my channel. Can I tell you another thing that's amazing? For those of you who aren't used to it yet, I want you to listen to the needle drop. I promise, the needle drop is one of the first needle drop on a record is one of the most satisfying things. It's like opening a new bottle of wine. You understand? Even before you take the wine out of the bottle, you can already smell it in the air. We're opening a fresh bottle of beer, you know? That's the way it is that I feel about the needle drop. And what I usually do is I bring up the volume of the needle drop so that all of us can experience it together. So, here's your needle drop. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Let's burn. What's going on, Rock and Roll Show? You having a good time? One, man. My pleasure, Vincellini. Happy to have you, man. Evening. It's available at Junkies, by the way. My Quebec friends. Get yourself classic Afghan Whigs to me, man. Their most rock and roll song. That's heavy, man. So, not such a bad way to start a record, right? That killed.
All my thoughts descend. Wait for me up around the bend. Sitting on a wire, hiding on display, waiting for the night as I destroy the day. Where am I? Don't wait around. The getaway.
This is definitely Afghan Whigs. That's the sound.
Been around a bit. I see you there, coming after me. Made you fall apart. Sitting on wire, hiding on display, waiting for the night as I destroy the day. Run away from me.
As I destroy the day.
I would
God damn.
get away.
Oh, that's so good. Waiting for the night as I destroy the day. Okay.
Get away.
I do believe
All of my
we're getting a good representation of what Afghan Whigs is. This is great.
wait for me up around the
What's going on, Purple Haze? Gesh busy, I see you. You guys good? We are listening to a great record as far as I am hearing up to now. Thoughts? I'm going to put up a poll just a little later on, okay? are. Yay, nay, or either way.
Don't let your money, honey, steal you. Don't let your money, honey, steal you. Don't let your money, honey, steal you. I don't wanna break you. It won't be long you waiting for a feeling to catch a cold and race it to the ceiling. I'm wide awake, it's why they call it dreaming. I don't wanna play.
I'm really loving this, man. You know how it is that I say that Greg Dooley's got a bit of voodoo in him? Right here. This is what I call the Greg Dooley voodoo. Crazy, right? Latin claps this year. All my German friends. Danke. Listening to the new AFGHAN WHIGS. How do you do? Peace to you, Sean. So anybody sold out this yet? Listen to that. This is just getting better. The sun's winding down and it's getting better. Ptolemaic. Yeah, you're gonna hear me rave about this at the break. This is fucking great. Do AFGHAN WHIGS have a band camp? Or are they too big for that? Is that better? Thanks for pointing it out. Is that better? Thank you, Platin Pops. If somebody can send me a link where people can go out and buy the record. That link up. Let's see if we can't help sell a few records. Those of you who live in Canada, let me get you 5% off. Pretty much the best prices you'll find in Canada. Go shop to my shop. That record store. You want it. Free delivery in Quebec. So, thoughts? I'm going to try to save most of my thoughts for the very end of the show, okay? I see you. Dank. Danke.
I don't know why I follow imaginary crumbs only I can see. Locked in a maze.
Here's a link where you can buy the record.
Lying next to me.
The best place to buy a record is your independent record store, though. Go there first.
Lost to the keys to unlock the higher calling. I don't know how to call. Down on my knees I whisper the only words I can recall. And they are, please baby,
That's how it's done. Mark Riva's going and buy himself a copy. Beautiful.
I cannot see. So please, baby, I gotta know what I've been waiting for. I gotta know what I've been looking for. Is it you? Is it me?
You love my background. Harris, thank you. But do you realize those are actual, like, records? They're real records. It's not, what do they call those things? When they just put the fake picture in the back? Green screen? It's not a green screen. And what I tell people all the time is that what you see on camera is only maybe 30%, 25% of the collection. This is a big wall of vinyl. This here stretches out about what you see. It stretches out the same distance on the other side. Then on the other side of the wall, there's another corridor that long. And then there's another big wall of vinyl. And there's a wall of vinyl here. There's a lot of vinyl in here. This is my job, man. I'm a DJ. You remember John Peel? My European friends. Was there any DJ growing up that you used to discover music at? College radio station was good for that. But that's what I'm bringing back. You come to Vinyl Junkies to listen to something you haven't heard before because I give everything a chance. And I'm telling you, before you know it, no matter what music you listen to, I promise, spend 1 month here and what you're going to say is, I heard this for the first time on Vinyl Junkies. And Robbie Rob also, Peel does know. Peel absolutely knows. What it is that I'd like to say, Robbie Rob, is please understand that I completely get what it means to name drop somebody like Peel and say that I'm the next John Peel. That's not just a big braggadocio Howard Stern statement. As much as there is some of that, I really have every intention of being the next John Peel, of presenting a radio station here on radio show here on Twitch where you learn about music and you discuss music. You go deeper. This is what I do. The friends that I tell you about, they do different things. But what I do is I look for my friends, I look for people that I have things in common with, and we build a big vibe and we share. And it's with that I'd like to say thank you, if I may, to Platin Pops, who shouted us out, rated us. He's helping us get there. Sorry, I'm not getting the commands right. Okay? If you like what we do, very simple. Support independent radio. It happens with you guys. Your subscriptions make this go forward. I set our goal now for 540 subscribers. I need 14 more. Do you think we can get that? If you think that I've done enough right now to earn your subscription, then I'd love to earn that. Okay? Listen for a while, see if I can earn it. I love that idea. The fact that we earn our listeners' support. I like that. It's a job. You understand? It's cool. Now listen. Let's go to a record here. What I'm hearing is classic AFGHAN WHIGS. Or maybe I've just been listening to AFGHAN WHIGS for so long that I've grown with Greg Dooley. Look, AFGHAN WHIGS is more than just Dooley. I mean, John Curley's a long-time guitarist, and I don't know the names of the other guys, but I feel like I've grown with Dooley. So his voice has changed over the time, but it's kind of exactly the example that you would give, let's say, with a Mark Lanigan or a Tom Waits would be a perfect example, where their voices aren't youthful, but they're not bad. As a matter of fact, if anything, they age. They're beautiful. And that's what's happened with him. He's still got that youthful swagger. You hear it in all of the songs. There's balls to his song. He's got that voodoo. And to me, there's not a lot of musicians that capture that voodoo quite like Greg Dooley does. You know who used to be able to bottle up that voodoo and feed it to you? Miles Davis during the 70s. You listen to those 70s Miles Davis records, that's the voodoo. That's the voodoo funk I'm talking about. Greg Dooley's got that. Dr. John had that. There's a certain mojo. They lay down a certain funk. They lay down a certain vibe that's them. And you're entranced by it. You're taken by it. There's not a lot of musicians who can do that. You know? The special musicians can do that. He's one of those guys. You think of Nick Cave. Nick Cave to me is another perfect example of that. Okay, so they have a certain swagger. They know how to capture a room. I mean, I've heard Tori Amos do the same thing. Singing Me and a Gun in a big packed room full of people, and there's not a single sound. All you hear is her voice. And she's not using a mic. And she's just singing right across the room. It's a powerful thing. There are some musicians who capture that. And to me, Dooley is one of those people. Okay? My first feeling here is, this is my favorite Dooley record. This is my favorite AFGHAN WHIGS record since 1965. Since before they went on a, before they went on a break. So I said that 1965 was the album that they released just before calling it quits. This is 1965. This record is beastly. This is their Motown record. It's great. Okay? So, to me, I like the stuff that they released in 2014 and 2017, enough to have bought it. But I like this even more. And I'm pretty certain that I know why I like it more too. The answer may surprise you. It's because I'm listening to it the way it is that I'm listening to it. It's because I'm listening to it with about 75 other people. I'm listening to it with intent and I'm having a conversation. I'm focusing my attention on this piece of music and having a conversation about it. And it's all happening live in real time and we're all sharing information together. Mac DeMarco is coming up and that's the value of what we do here at Vinyl Junkies. It's that conversation. Okay? So this is the point where I usually ask you guys to give me your impressions of the first record. I'm going to put up a quick poll, okay? What do you think of this record up to now? You'll have three options. Is it a yay? Yay means that you would buy it. You would buy it. Or you really like it, like, you know, it's going to stay with you. Is it a nay? That should be obvious, not your thing. Or is it an either way? You can take it or leave it. Not necessarily your wheelhouse, but you're happy you're listening to it maybe. You know, take it or leave it. You know how it goes. Because either way records are not the ones that you buy. The ones that you buy are the nays. So what it is I've begun this poll that I do with every record. And it starts right now. Go vote. This AFGHAN WHIGS record, you guys decide. Is it a yay? So far, after one side, a nay? Or an either way? Tune in and find out. I just, right now, as I was listening to this, thought of another segment we're going to add to all of our live streams for full albums. I think you guys are going to like this. What it is that I've done up to now, and I just thought of this idea now. What I've done up to now is I'm still working on the format, tightening the format up. I've always avoided reading reviews. Always. Yeah, I'm about to announce a new bit. It's going to happen for the first time here at the end of the record. I've always avoided reviews. I don't trust reviews. I don't trust the whole system of manufacturing consent on magazines like Pitchfork, and I don't fucking trust it. I trust my own ears more. And I don't need somebody to tell me, listen, this is what you want because it's this. I don't need it. And the fact that they're trying to sling a fucking stream to me. I don't want to listen to my music on stream. Don't you understand? Publicists, by giving you those streams, are actually destroying your enjoyment of music. They're not giving you free anything. They're giving you a stream. They're fucking completely watering down your experience of listening to a record for the first time. And they expect you, if you're a blogger or that kind of thing, they expect you to write about it for free. It's a garbage system. Fuck that. I would rather buy my records, pay for them with my own money, have a substantial experience like I'm having here, a substantive experience, a qualitative experience, and draw my own conclusions. So that's kind of why I don't bother with reviews. Ever, ever, ever. Okay? So what I'm going to do now, as a new bit, tell me what you think of this. After the show, I'm going to give my final thoughts, and I'm going to read the Pitchfork review live. We'll see what the score is. We'll see what they have to say. And we'll see how it compares to what it is that I've had to say up to now. How about that? Harris, thank you for following. If you love my channel, please come back. I hope one day you decide to support our channel. But I'm happy that you're here. Thank you so very much. And thank you to all of you for listening. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the Pitchfork review after this. And we're going to see what they have to say compared to the experience that we've had together. How does our collective experience of actually listening to the album in its entirety on vinyl, in community, the way it is, compared to what is being said on the Pitchfork review? Let's see what those two things are. Yeah, I know, Foster, obviously, and I know that you're very well versed. You read a lot. This is the first time I do it, so this is going to be the first time in many years that I read a Pitchfork article. And the only reason I'm reading a Pitchfork article is just to see how close to the mark it is to our personal communal experience. That could be fun. In the meanwhile, if you guys want to participate, tell us what you thought of side 1. Afghan Whigs, How Do You Burn? Is it a yay, a nay, or an either way? So far, 79% of the vote goes to yay. You guys like it and you'd buy it. 1 vote only, 7% nay, and 14% either way. So the yays are ahead 11 votes to 3. Nearly 4 times. Pretty cool. Again, if you like the record, especially if you collect records, I can tell you, if you enjoy what you've heard up to now, it's a safe bet as far as the quality of the record. You can watch it later on, but I do a full product review of every vinyl record I buy. The only thing that I do after taking them out of the shrink wrap is I run them through the cleaning machine. I have a degritter, a professional cleaning machine. I put every record through the degritter so that I can remove the static. So, everything that you see here is happening really in real time. The physical product review is there. To me, you're getting bang for your buck, and for me, as a fan of Afghan Whigs, this is their best record since their hiatus. And I know that it's you guys and listening to it all together that's making the difference. So, listen, man. Thanks for making my first time great. Well, you see, that's it. You skim reviews first, and a lot of you do. That's why I think it'll make for an interesting discussion, right? Because you guys, we can talk about the reviews. But you will be having this conversation with me and telling me what your experience is about these reviews, about this piece of art that we just listened to. But you're going to be having a discussion with somebody who will be reading the Pitchfork review for the very first time. I think I like the idea of that format. I'm trying to create a complete experience of listening to the record. It's taken me a while to put it all together, but I am, man. I'm always working on my craft, trying to make the show better, trying to become a better radio host. So yeah, analog clock, I go in blind, always. But it's always fun to see what other people say after, so that'll be the element. Okay, folks, so we're pretty much ready now to listen to side 1. If you're up for it, then so am I. We're going to take a little commercial. Those of you who like the show enough will subscribe to our channel as I try to get to 540 subscribers. Only 14 subscribers away to get there. Will we get it? I hope so. If I do anywhere as close as Platin Pops, that dude got a fucking level 8 hype train. You crushed it today, friend, and I'm proud of you. Alright, folks. Let me drop this needle and then we're going to shout out our friends. capture 63% of the votes. Either way, 26% of the vote, and the nays, 11%. I'm glad you like the record, so do I. If you're in Canada and want to get the record for 5% off, already probably the best prices in Canada, go hit up our friends at the link I just showed you. Get 5% off your order. Delivery across Canada. Free delivery in Quebec.
Let me reread my testimony.
Who's this?
I almost said
Who's this?
of our uncertain ceremony. Up on the rock I bled. I am your sadness, baby.
check it out for me? I mean, I like it.
Lost inside and lost inside my head. I was lost in heart, ever lost inside my head.
Hey friends, is it time to have a beer yet? It's a 5:45.
I know it's been a while, but baby, if you were waiting for me, we're going out in style. I am your madness, baby, your light of tears. I can see the smoke, and you're lost inside my head. You were lost inside and lost inside my head.
That's fantastic.
Lost inside, never lost inside my head.
I mean, come on, this is great.
Inside, you were lost inside my head. I was lost inside and lost inside my
He harmonizes so well, doesn't he? Yeah, man, they're in fine form. This is, to me, classic. This is classic Afghan Whigs. I think we're going to be listening to Afghan Whigs today. After the show? Oh, yeah. Here's song 3.
Maybe lately, come on over, let's unlonely. Take me, baby. Come on, come on, come on,
Yeah, that's a big track. It's funny because what I like most about his singing is that he hits that really ugly register. He can sing ugly really well.
I'm gonna take you on a mystery ride. Hustle for the corner and slip over the side. Ancient was the light like a song on the stereo. We played bones and I'm yelling domino. I'm gonna take you where the consciousness bends. Come pull the lever, let the story pretend. Long gone now, here come the breeze and a cameo. Long gone, every which way you go. And by the way, and by the way, and by the way, you say you're only just a shadow to the sky. And by the way, and by the way, and by the way, you say you're lonely. You are the echo of my mind, and I'm feeling fine. And now we're coming to awakening, child. Ain't so far away as you become a silhouette to the sky. Whisper to the wind as she's circling by and go. And by the way,
This is so good, man.
you say you're only just a shadow to the sky.
My tattoo artist friend, how are you? I'm glad that they liked, Melt Banana too, Motorboat Beaver. Cheers, man. I'm happy you enjoyed it. It makes me very happy when people tell me that they discover music here. That's why I do what I do.
Slow, blind, and left behind. I'm on the street and I'm looking for a good time. I'll be the way you see me now. Sometimes look all around. You dropped in on the dark side of the dark town. I'll be the way you see me now. The sun is sinking on the town. Not even I can buy a friend. I know you know that you will be in flames with me, in flames with me.
That's what Afghan Whigs does. They leave one of the big epic songs for the end. Often it's an instrumental, though. This time it wasn't an instrumental. But to me, this has all of the markings, all of the trademarks of an Afghan Whigs record. It's brilliant. I've enjoyed every moment of it. I found myself singing parts of the song to a song that I just learned for the first time. I can feel Dooley's energy around me when he weaves that. It's just, he's got this thing. He's got confidence. He's got this almost fucking arrogant confidence to him that's just so attractive too. Because he's got swagger, but the motherfucker deserves to have swagger because he's that good. I kind of liken it in a certain way to the Father John Misty swagger, but the Father John Misty swagger kind of comes off a little bit full of shit to me. I don't like the character of Father John Misty. I really like the character of Greg Dooley. There is a little bit of a difference in the voice. Yeah, there's certain textures. I mean, you know, he's gotten older, so the voice has changed a little bit, but a lot of that old is still there. To me, this is, I won't say a return to form because I think they never lost their form. Then again, you have to take those types of comments with a grain of salt because I'm a fanboy. And you should never trust a fanboy. A fanboy loves everything. Once somebody loves everything, it means that they're too close to it to be able to really kind of give you a little bit of a perspective. You know? It's almost like you insult them. So, I'm a fanboy, I would say. But to me, yeah. I love what I heard. As a matter of fact, if anything, it's going to lead me to play the record 1965, which is the record that I've referenced a few times during our live stream. It's the last Afghan Whigs record they put out before they called a hiatus. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to read this Pitchfork review. This is going to be the last part of the show. I think I've given my thoughts. I think that you've listened with your own ears, so you don't need me to tell you whether you like it or not. That's completely up to you. But if you do like it, go buy it. Support the artists. If you're in Canada, this next link I'm about to put up is the shop I shop at, Au Tatoitot here in Quebec. That translates in English to 33 RPM. I've got a good fair amount of experience when it comes to buying records. Their prices are absolutely competitive. What I'm telling you is shop with confidence. They're good. I mean, I buy a ton of records there. I buy all my records there. So, yeah, it's a good store. It's a great store. And if you're ever in Montreal, hey, man, maybe we'll go digging for some records. I never have trouble digging for records. I like digging for records. I travel for this. I'm planning a trip to fucking Germany so I can dig for records. You know, it's what I do. Maybe I'll meet up with some of my German friends. Any record collectors there? Would you like to go digging? Alright, the Pitchfork review. Let's have a look. I have to find it first. I had it open here somewhere. I just gotta find the right tab. Porco Dio. Afghan Whigs search. There we are. Pitchfork review. Found it. The Pitchfork review. Oh, this is going to be fun. The Pitchfork review was done on September the 9th, 2022. So, just under a month ago. The first thing that I see, and it offended me immediately, the first thing that I see is a 7.8. Go fuck yourself. Okay. Right away, for me, as soon as I see that, it's like I already don't like you. Because I trust my own experience more, and my own experience was fantastic. You understand why it is that, to me, reading reviews actually spoils it? Tell me something, now that you fucking listened to it, okay? Now that you listened to this, you tell me. 7.8. If you would have read a 7.8, you would have given less attention to it. But you listened. You did. It's not me that sold you the record. It's not me telling you I recommend it. No. You listened with your own ears. You know if you like it or not. The 7.8 is fucking nonsense. I'm actually an Afghan Whigs fan. These fucking clowns. I hate Pitchfork. Clowns. 7.8. Let's see. Greg Dooley and company return with an eclectic, haunted set that feels untethered to their past work. And I just compared it to 1965. They seem less interested in living up to expectations and upending them. It's funny because I didn't get that feeling at all. I absolutely hear the hallmarks of Afghan Whigs continued in this record. They're not making the same record, but I absolutely hear the hallmarks. So for me, right off the bat, I don't agree. That's the reason I don't read Pitchfork. We haven't even gotten into it yet. Fuck, it is going to be fun, eh? Can you imagine me going on and on like this about the review? To me, this is fun. I'll critique a review every day. I won't critique a piece of music. I won't score a piece of music. But right now, the score to this fucking review, it's, I think, very bad. It's not going very well. I think it sucks, actually. After Top Gun Maverick, Minions, The Rise of Gru, and Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe warmed things up. Really? Okay, the most highly anticipated sequel event of the summer has finally arrived. For Afghan Whigs fans at least. 7 songs into the band's 9th album, we hear a familiar voice, and it's not Greg Dooley's Back on the Whigs 1993 album Gentleman. Dooley's roiling cocktail of self-aggrandizement and self-loathing was splashed right back in his face by guest... What the fuck are you talking about? You fucking idiot! Show respect, you clown! A self-loathing was splashed right back in his face by guest vocalist Marcy Mays. Her star turned on the ballad My Curse centered on the voice of a woman trapped in a toxic relationship with a sort of Lothario that Dooley's so fond of portraying. Now, 29 years later, we get a status update in the form of Domino and Jimmy, the emotional centerpiece of How Do You Burn. Decades removed from turmoil, both characters are still traumatized by their rancorous romantic history. Like a living ghost, you get lost inside my head, Maze sings, with a combination of resignation and the resolve, before Dooley takes the mic to repent. Domino and Jimmy opens up these old wounds to heal them once and for all. In contrast to the plate-smashing unrest of My Curse, the new song exudes the purifying quality of a sunrise swim. Somebody get me a cup of coffee. Jesus Christ. Really? I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not connecting to this. My curse, their curse may never fully be broken, but they've learned to live with it, even draw strength from it. Okay. Beyond bringing a sense of peace and closure to one of the most harrowing songs in their canon, Domino and Jiminy is also a measure of how much the Whigs have grown over the past 3 decades. An archetypal 4-man indie rock band during their initial 90s run, the post-reunion Whigs have become an ever-widening storm of serial collaborators, auxiliary members, and celebrity guests, with Dooley at the center, inheriting the open-door policy of his interim outfit, the Twilight Singers. That, to me, sounds pretty dismissive. I don't like the tone of this at all. Personally, it sounds dismissive. But look, the thing is you keep hearing me say I hate Pitchfork. I haven't read it. You know how it is that I say if you hate something so much, that means you consume it. Well, now I get to see whether it is that what I'm consuming, and you're able to hear the hatred in real time. I mean, this is fucking stupid to me. It offends me as a music lover. This offends me. Even the presence of bassist John Curley, Dooley's most loyal, bassist, not guitarist, okay, Dooley's most loyal right-hand man since 1988, is seemingly no longer a prerequisite Dude, they're shitting on the band here. Is no longer a prerequisite for getting an Afghan Whigs record off the ground. These guys are insulting the fucking record. Fuck you. Sessions for How Do You Burn began amid COVID restrictions in September 2020 with Dooley and drummer Patrick Keeler of the Raconteurs holding up in the Joshua Tree studio of new guitarist Christopher Thorne, ex-Blind Melon, while Curly, the bassist, guitarist John Skibich, and keyboardist Rick Nelson zoomed in their parts from home later on. I mean, so between the ever-changing membership and desert recording locale, the Afghan Whigs have essentially become Dooley's Queens of the Stone Age. A point hammered home by the new album's opening homage, I'll Make You See God, a pure pedal-to-the-metal Motoric rocker that counts as the fastest, heaviest, and most relentlessly bullheaded song in the band's entire oeuvre. I absolutely agree there. It's their heaviest song. If you're going to use that to talk about Queens of the Stone Age, I can understand from a sound perspective. Absolutely. I understand. Listen, Dooley is such a huge character. He's such a huge presence. No matter where he goes, he's the centerpiece. He's also the centerpiece in Twilight Singers. If Dooley starts a metal band, he's going to be the centerpiece. You can't fucking blame the band, or you can't poo-poo over the fact that it's just a rotate. I mean, it seems dismissive to me. It seems dismissive. As a fan, I'm trying to get some of the points. Okay, I get this Queens of the Stone Age. Yes, it's the heaviest song. Okay, but I mean, you're showing me why I don't read your bullshit. And now, all of a sudden, I've made it a part of my particular routine to read your bullshit at the end of listening to a record, just to see how it compares to my personal experience and the experience of a group of people who are actually listening to it together. Rather than a bunch of fucking guys who listen to a stream and they're in their tiny little apartments and inhaling their own farts as they're listening to the stream that was sent to them by the publicist. Fuck off! I bought the record. So between, okay, are you having fun? Are you having fun? Is this a good point? Is this a good part of the show? But of course, the Queen's connection runs deeper than that. Both groups had a long-standing ties to the late Mark Lanigan, okay, who provided How Do You Burn with both vocals and its title, which has its way of asking the question, what gets you excited? Okay. I didn't know that, but cool. Not surprising. Dooley and Lanigan were huge friends. I love both artists immensely. Tellingly, Lanigan doesn't get a star feature on the record. His voice is used more texturally as a doomy echo of the darkest sounds bouncing off around Dooley's head. Amid the elegantly Beatlesque chamber pop of The Getaway, he follows Dooley's lead like a shadow. When Dooley boastfully exclaims that he's sitting on a wire, hiding on this... Oh my God, this is hard to read, man. You guys read this? Lanigan repeats the words underneath a weighty whisper that suggests he'll actually make good on the threat. You're saying all of these things... You're basically dancing about architecture while shitting on the band. I mean, the band can't be impressed with this. I can imagine Dooley reading this and saying, eat a dick. Don't fucking review my records anymore. Fuck you. That's what I can imagine. For all the darkness that clouded its creation, Lanigan's death was preceded by that of guitarist David Rosser in 2007. How Do You Burn vibrates with an irrepressible, ecstatic energy, threading its horror movie orchestration with wordless wails from class of 1965 alumna Susan Marshall, which we're going to be hearing from. Catch a Colt has all the makings of another clamorous Whigs workout. I can't do this anymore. Let's get to the conclusion. Many 90s alt-rockers have returned to cash a reunion tour paycheck. A precious few have enjoyed a sustained second act as a recording entity. But the Afghan Whigs of 2022 belong to an even more rarefied realm. A veteran band less interested in living up to expectations than upending them. I don't get that feeling. If 2014's Due to the Beast reaffirmed the Whigs' doom sole bona fides, okay, sure. And 2017 In Spades gestured towards epic Scorsesean set pieces of the Black Glove era, okay. How Do You Burn boasts a mixtape type eclecticism, communal bonhomie, and psychedelic texture that feels untethered to the Whigs' past. I'm not sure I agree with that, but that's okay. Maybe the first song, maybe, but not even. To me, it sounds like a Whigs song anyway, so, okay. Even as the closing in flames places Dooley's narrator in the all too familiar settings, Snowblind left behind, and I'm on the... Oh, fuck off. This is how the Afghan Whigs burn, by turning up the heat until the line between chaos and rapture has been thoroughly obliterated. I hate you, Pitchfork. That's my review. That's my review of this Pitchfork review. I hate you, Pitchfork. I hate you. You suck my balls. Your writers, you know what they do? They review streams. They review links. They review streams. You ain't shit. That's how I feel about you, Pitchfork. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. Clip. That is going to be my next TikTok. That right there. Pitchfork, it's going to be called. That's the TikTok if you guys want to see. I'm going to upload it later on, and you can see the madness that we come up with. I try to create content like this, but my content draws from radio. That's what I like to do. Do you guys dig what we're doing? Or did I bore everybody to tears with the talking? Because that's going to happen. You're going to lose people. But please understand that this is radio, so the people that you lose maybe just don't want to listen to that now. But what we offer here at Vinyl Junkies is radio. If you like what we do, new people, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Please, why don't you subscribe to our channel? Nothing makes me feel better than seeing a 1 next to your name telling me that I earned your support. That's all I'm trying to do, man. I'm a working man just like you. And I'm putting together this station because I think this is something I know how to do, and because I'm excited about Twitch. I think I can deliver old school radio to you. I think I can deliver John Peel type radio. That is my hope. Ultimately, you guys decide. As I watch the subscribers go up and the followers, you guys are deciding that, hey, I like this. Cool. I'll keep doing it, one way or another. But I will not play to the fucking gallery. I will not play to the crowd. I will not play a popularity contest. That's not what I do. If hearing me talk for 30 minutes at a time turns you off, then that's probably not the show for you, but that's okay. Again, it's independent radio. Every creator gets to do what they want with their channel and attract their kind of audience. I'm trying to attract a radio audience with a very, very broad scope of what they like in music. So I can share my broad scope and my passion for all sorts of art with you in community. To me, that's worth doing. All right, listen, so we're going to start this entire thing over again. I'm going to be on I'm going to be on till past midnight. As a matter of fact, I've already gotten word that we'll be receiving a visit. So you guys stick around for that. We got the party, man. I'm pretty sure that the party's just gotten begun. Please know that your requests are good. I'm happy to do them for you. I'm just going to turn off the YouTubes just so I can keep this video together. Look at that. We didn't get thrown off. Thanks for tuning in, YouTube. I got more old man videos for you next week, okay? Come see us on Twitch if you want to catch the show. Bye.